Kris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Alex von Gollum. Hi, Gio, Kris, Rob, and Rob from Toronto. Today, 50 years ago, the world was graced with the release of one of the most astounding achievements in filmmaking of all time, The Godfather. It exacts the soul to try to review the extraordinary masterpiece. From the exquisite cinematography, acting, score, production design, script, this art piece amalgamates what movie excellence is and can be. What can you say about this film and its legacy yesterday, today, and for many years to come? Thanks.
It's a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. Everything from the cinematography, the music, the acting, it launched iconic, stellar, legendary careers. It to this day stands as maybe it and Star Wars as the most influential films ever. Like if you gather into a room 1,000 directors and filmmakers, say, what was the movie that influenced you? Those are the two names that are probably going to get brought up more than anything else. The Godfather, Star Wars, it's right up there. You know, Rob, Ray, and I recently revisited it the other day to talk about it, since this week and today specifically is the 50th anniversary, to talk about it on our movie club. And it's just incredible. Like, every time you watch it, you're surprised again, because even though you know it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest film of all time, you forget just how great it is and how perfect it is in almost all things. It's just an amazing achievement. And to look at it now, 50 years later, again, I rewatched it again the other day, totally holds up.
Oh, yeah.
It totally holds up 50 years later. This is truly a cornerstone of all the cinematic industry forever and ever and ever. And you just can't overplay it. There's just no overstating it, just how good of a movie is. It is one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. And it's one of the reasons why, like, amongst a lot of cinephiles, the only debate is Godfather 1 the greatest film of all time? Or is Godfather 2 the greatest film of all time? I mean, that's just how psychotically good these things are. So, happy birthday to The Godfather. Ray celebrated by watching it for the first time, but Rob, reflecting, and we did talk about on Movie Club the other day, but just your reflections today on the 50th anniversary of this film.
You know, I think it is, both Godfather 1 and 2, I think, are my favorite movies of all time. But beyond that, they're also some of my favorite stories of all time, because what I think is really important about The Godfather is, one, I'm always talking about verisimilitude, the quality of being real. The Godfather, I think, works, and like you just pointed out, it's timeless, and it doesn't feel dated because it is such a great evocation of post-World War II New York. Like, you look at this, and it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. It feels like you're watching something that was actually shot at real events. It's almost like a documentary, like a you are there experience. And when the opening scene, when they're intercutting between inside Vito Corleone's home office and the party outside, Talia Shire's wedding, it just feels, it sets up, like you pointed out in our movie club, that you're building a world that feels absolutely authentic.
Yeah.
And what I love also about this, on one hand, the novel that it's based on is much more of a pulp mafia novel. And what Coppola did with this was he took what could have been, call it a pot boiler, call it whatever you want. It could have been just another mob movie, but he imbued it with this sort of epic storyline. Coppola, I always repeat this, but Coppola said it's a story about a king and his 3 sons, the succession to the realm. And even though it's set in a very specific time in a very specific place, it is a timeless story that reiterates themes, not just from Western storytelling, but from Kurosawa's samurai movies, anything that has ever dealt with royal blood and all of that, and warring. I mean, in a way, Game of Thrones dealt with a lot of the same issues that The Godfather does, and there's been people that even said that Game of Thrones had a Godfather-esque quality, and I think that's why this movie works so well even 50 years on, is that the story that it's telling, even though it's very specific to a time and place, is in fact timeless.
Kris, as you look back, you weren't here for Movie Club, obviously, but the 50th anniversary of a film like this, it's talked about all the time. What are your thoughts on its 50th anniversary?
I mean, I didn't watch this film until I had to for a film class. And wow, it is such a masterclass in acting, but also the trust that needs to be on set. I mean, the studio didn't want the sets as dimly lit as they were. And can you imagine if they were anything but that? And then just the trust they all put in the actors. I mean, the nervousness that Luca is actually experiencing when speaking to Don Corleone is real.
Yeah.
Because that actor's so nervous about speaking to Marlon Brando. And Coppola was like, keep it. We're keeping that in there. It's authentic. James Caan ad-libbing bada bing, smashing that camera. And
Right
then
all over
throwing
your
the
Ivy
caps
League
at it.
suit.
Yeah, all of that stuff. That's him just riffing. And it's him bringing his authentic self to this character, which is the most important thing of acting. It's not about just being completely dissolved into a role. It's about bringing your authentic self to something and how you would react in those certain situations. And so seeing all of that in something like this is so cool, because I think a lot of times when we think about improv, we think of comedies. But then if you think about dramatic films like this, like Leonardo DiCaprio's work in Django, when you allow an actor to really play, that's when all the beautiful, messed up shit can happen. And I think that's what's really, really cool in this film. And I mean, obviously we have the iconic line too, leave the gun, take the cannoli. That wasn't in there too. I love it.
Actually, some of you guys might remember me and a friend of mine who was like the director of LucasArts and stuff like that. We made a fan film a number of years ago it was a Star Wars fan film. It was called Rise of the Trades. And it was an amalgamation of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace with The Godfather. The basic story of it was a young Jedi who's failed the trials is now sent back home to Naboo, where his family is actually the leading crime family. And then it kind of follows the story of The Godfather from there. But we took that line that you mentioned, the bada bing, because, you know, the Trades, the Godfather, gets murdered, and the youngest son was a failed Jedi, and the older brother comes up to him, you got to walk up to him and bada bing, you get brains all over you, nice Jedi suit, instead of just your nice suit. That was our line. Yes, we really did have the actor say that, and yes, it's every bit as awful as I just made it sound.
I love that.
But that was that. Anyway, guys, question is for you. It's the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. I'm sure there's probably
Today. This is the actual day.
Today. I'm sure there's probably still a bunch of guys who haven't seen it. You don't know what movie making is until you've seen The Godfather. So do yourself a treat. Go watch it. Whatever you guys' thoughts are on this anniversary day, jump on down in the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, Coinbase. Have you found yourself curious about getting involved in cryptocurrency, but if you're like a couple of friends of mine who have been really interested in it, they felt kind of overwhelmed by it, like not even knowing how to get started? Well, that's where Coinbase comes in, because they make learning to buy and sell crypto simple. Coinbase offers a trusted and easy to use platform to buy, sell, and spend cryptocurrency. They support the most popular digital currencies on the market and make them accessible to everyone. They offer portfolio management and protection, learning resources, and a mobile app so you can trade securely and monitor your crypto all in one place. And that's why millions of people all over the world in 100 different countries trust Coinbase with their digital assets. So whether you're looking to diversify, just getting started, or searching for a better way to access crypto markets, start today with Coinbase. And for a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at coinbase.com/Campea. Sign up at coinbase.com/Campea for $10 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only, so be sure to sign up today. That's coinbase.com/Campea.